Hi, I'm David Gibbs, Executive Director of the Blue Devils.
And I'm Romero Barrera, the Program Coordinator for the Blue Devils.
We're going to talk about the show this year that we did in the year 2000 called Methods of Madness. In October, we get together as a staff. The creative staff of the Blue Devils includes Jay Murphy, who's the visual designer, along with Scott Chandler. Scott Johnson and Dave Glide are the percussion arrangers. Jeff Lee is the front field percussion arranger, and of course Wayne Downey, the brass arranger. We get together usually at the beginning of October and bring show ideas. And this year we got together in my house and we started throwing out the ideas, and Jay Murphy brought the idea of doing an Alfred Hitchcock show, and Romero at that point took the ball and ran with it.
It then became obvious that we needed to focus on Bernard Hermann's music. The show really evolved from there, using a number of his film scores. He is, of course, the genius that made a bunch of the Alfred Hitchcock movies super exciting. This particular piece is from Taxi Driver, which is not an Alfred Hitchcock film, Martin Scorsese film. We decided to use it because of the ominous beginning that really gives us a sort of film noir feel to it. I love the score because it then melts into a really jazzy, cool beginning, which is coming up, and I really thought that the Blue Devils could do a great job with it.
The interesting part is take a look at how the color guard's outfitted with the colors on one side and black on the other. And Scott and Romero and Jay had long discussions about how to present film score on a football field.
Well, just the whole idea of trying to bring cinema onto the field, the idea of black being cut out or fadeaways, and those kinds of thoughts were what we were talking about, and it really developed to Scott's idea to do the entire back of the color guard in black. So as they turn around and they turn black, it's as if they disappear. From there, the idea then went to the flags, which you see right here, and so they're black, and then on the other side, the same color as our costume. We then decided that really this sort of started to become a theme of the whole show, even the chord turning around and fading away and coming back in. It really worked, I thought, nicely for us.
And this is one of the classic, I think, Blue Devil climaxes that Wayne Downey does really well, final moments of a production, and it ends up being here versus at the end of that whole fast 200 beat per minute production. This is a section that took a long time to develop. We actually went through 2 or 3 versions of this percussion break into this final climax as we go into the next production.
Yeah, this is on dangerous ground. In my opinion, it's one of his better film scores. It is a very, very exciting piece of music and very hard-hitting. I really thought that for the Blue Devils, this is the kind of music that they do quite nicely. So I decided to use this with the Psycho movie music that comes in a little bit later, and that seemed to work really, really nice, particularly for the percussion, I thought.
The other thing we wanted to do is utilize the color guard skills. And you notice here they started out in the beginning of the show with dancers and all flags, and now they went to 3 implements, the rifles, sabers, and flags. And a lot of things we do in the Blue Devils, we would like to really demonstrate the skill level that they bring to us, which is really extraordinarily high. And you're seeing it with the color guard switch to 3 different pieces of equipment.
Yeah, and here's the clip of Psycho coming in. I think a lot of people thought that the entire production was from Psycho, and it isn't. It's bits and pieces of On Dangerous Ground and Psycho, just all blended together.
One of the things that Jay Murphy, our visual designer, does extremely well is present the sections when they're actually doing the melodic line and utilizing, again, demonstrating their skill level, and you just saw that when they played the Psycho melody.
Okay, this is where the percussion climax on Dangerous Ground. It's a wonderful spot to feature them, and Jay Murphy, again, staged the percussion wonderfully. This next transition took us a long time to really figure out, but once we decided to use the Psycho recap, it really fell together nicely. That screaming sound that you hear is really an effect with the gong and a scraper, which kind of sounds like a screaming soprano.
And after we decided to go back to the Psycho melodic melody here, Scott Chandler thought it would be fun to actually visually demonstrate it there with the color guard in front, which we thought it really added to the final moment of this production.
The next production is actually two pieces of music from two different movies. The first part is from Fahrenheit 451 with the really melancholy The Book People. And the second portion of this is Scène d'amour from Vertigo. I thought this ballad was perfect for the Blue Devils, and Wayne Downey did a wonderful job of arranging this.
There's much discussion, again, with Jay and Scott and Romero about how to visually interpret this production. And I think they went back to actually, looking at the movie and trying to bring that movie essence to the field.
We were trying to figure out how we were going to depict the scene where the character transforms into his ex-wife, and it's all about peeling layers. And a really interesting idea came up with Scott Chandler about wrapping the girls in fabric, and then as they unwrap, it's the new character. And so I really thought that he did a wonderful job with the choreography and using this new piece of equipment.
This production became one of the most challenging productions to figure out the pacing and make sure that we have the climaxes in the right place. This is one of the moments right here where we wanted to make sure that it was a climatic point of the production. Of course, we'll save the big one for the end. But it also took a long time to figure out how to stage the color guard with the equipment that Romero just talked about.
The most wonderful thing, though, with this whole production is just how incredible the musical arrangement turned out, and I think we're most proud of that.
This is another moment where we try to display the skills of the members in the corps, which is the color guard at this point, where they're going to add into the final climatic moment of the production with split leaps to the ground, which having all the girls do it in the corps or in the guard was actually pretty incredible. This next production coming up, we actually spent a lot of time over in Europe working on this beginning introduction, which actually integrates the color guard with percussion, demonstrating the skills and evolving both sections together. And we spent actually almost 2 weeks in Europe, Scott Chandler, Dave Glide, Scott Johnson, figuring out this production right here with Jeff Lee.
This music is from the movie North by Northwest. It's called The Wild Ride, and we really truly tried to make it a wild ride for the audience from beginning to end. It's interesting that we used one theme from the very beginning of Wild Ride through the middle and almost to the very end, and it just keeps going over and over again, and it's in the mallet percussion.
Right here, you'll see that where the horn line enters, they're way over on the right-hand side of the field, and the percussion towards the center. And I always found that moment was my gauge of how well the ensemble was playing together. If they could do that point right there, I knew they were on that night. And here you see where the color guard is throwing the rifles and sabers back and forth, and each time tossing a little bit higher, which is an amazing skill level.
This is a wonderful moment because Wild Ride starts developing and really becoming a piece of music. Interestingly enough, Bernard Hermann decided to use a fandango for the scene of the car almost falling off the cliff. And it's really a fandango that's almost off-centered rhythmically. Very, very interesting.
One of the most challenging parts of this production is to take the melodic melody that we play over and over again and keep building it to its final conclusion and climax. Romero talked about taking the audience on the wild ride, and we wanted to keep building the wild ride and be able to take this melodic melody and present it in different ways.
Yeah, and that was the challenge in the musical arrangement, also in contouring the whole production, not only musically but visually. The moment coming up is really my favorite moment of the whole show, as we set up to almost sort of a false ending, with the color guard here in the center. And then we have a great pit moment, which is my favorite moment of the show. Jeff Lee did a wonderful job here of keeping that fandango Spanish feel and giving us a great accelerando. Color guard in the center, staged perfectly. Just a great moment.
And the challenge for the brass performers is these isolated attacks spread over the entire field as the pit are doing the accelerando. and then the climax of the moment.
At this point, the fandango takes a kind of a left turn here, and it becomes more vicious from a composition standpoint and also from a visual standpoint.
One of the things you'll notice here, the color guard starts running and trying to interpret the North by Northwest theme of running through the cornfields and adding that more frantic nature to this production as we get closer to the end. And here with the sabers, I think it's a 7 they toss, spread over the entire field.
That's a great moment, yeah. This, of course, is taking us to the end, to our final moment of the show. And this piece of music here is from the movie The Man Who Knew Too Much. We tried to keep the flow of the Wild Ride melodic fragment here with the pit percussion that you heard early on in Wild Ride, but this is other music that is really leading us to our final production.
One of the things that we played with here at the end was slow versus fast, and also bringing back the 2 different colors. You see the flags have 2 different colors. The counter motion has the brass section. Most of them are in the slow, and the altos going through fast. So just keep trying to play on velocity again here with the color guard motion in the back and the brass in the front going the slow tempo.
And I think musically, just the whole drama of movie music is exemplified here, put all together.
And here we take it to the end. We're going to bring back the turning front and back here with the brass section, and then the final move of the show, pushing the drum line forward and the box rotation to the end.
Alfred Hitchcock always had a twist at the end of his films. 3 days before championships, we put in our own surprise ending.
And following the North by Northwest theme, the color guard member escaping from the stadium. Rumira and I both enjoyed doing this. This was fun.
We had a great time.
And the performers as well had an incredible time, actually experience of a lifetime as they performed this production in Europe as well as the United States. And we'll see you next year. Thank you.